What to do in Glasgow, Scotland. Once an industrial powerhouse, Glasgow is now a thriving cultural centre with world-class art galleries, museums, and theatres wherever you look. The largest city in Scotland, there is a wealth of things to see and do in Glasgow. 10. Hunterian Museum. Home to an extensive, if an eclectic, collection of artifacts, artworks, and exhibits. The superb Hunterian Museum can be found on the University of Glasgow campus in the west of the city. First opened in 1807, it contains everything from paintings and prints to dinosaur skeletons, Egyptian mummies and Roman-era archaeological findings. The oldest museum in Scotland, its astounding array of objects and specimens are now spread over several buildings, some of which are modern and others centuries old. 9. The Lighthouse. The first building in the city to be designed by the renowned architect Charles Rennie Mackintosh, the lighthouse was erected in 1895 and exhibits some brilliant brickwork. Formerly the headquarters of the Glasgow Herald newspaper, the lighthouse now instead fittingly serves as Scotland's centre for design and architecture. Lying just off of the busy Buchanan Street in the centre of the city, it has some interesting exhibitions on design and architecture. 8. Botanic Gardens. One of the most picturesque places to visit in town, the beautiful Botanic Gardens can be found in the west end of the city, not far from the University of Glasgow. Originally part of the campus, it has lovely grounds and greenhouses for you to wander around. While its main site is undoubtedly Kibble Palace, an elegant wrought iron glasshouse, the gardens also have several fabulous Victorian statues to check out. 7. Tenants Brewery. If you're after a freshly pulled pint, then you can't beat heading to Tenants Brewery and trying one of their award-winning beers. You can also take tours around their facility in the East End to learn about their rich history while seeing how the beers are brewed, bottled and branded. The company now has a fantastic visitor center replete with exhibitions and artifacts that highlight its age-old heritage. 6. Celtic Park. Even if you're not interested in football, it is still well worth going to watch a match at Celtic Park due to the intoxicating and unforgettable atmosphere. Home to Celtic FC, one of Scotland's most successful teams, the state-of-the-art stadium can be found just a short drive to the southeast of the centre. Besides watching a game, you can also tour around the stadium and see trophies and memorabilia at its visitors centre. 5. The Necropolis. Sprawling over a large hill to the east of Glasgow Cathedral is the Necropolis, one of the city's oddest yet most intriguing attractions. Modeled on the famous Père Lachaise cemetery in Paris, it has over 50,000 graves, tombs and monuments amidst lush green grounds. Visitors can enjoy splendid views out over the city from the cemetery's hillside. 4. Riverside Museum. To the west of the city centre is the excellent Riverside Museum, which lies along the banks of the River Clyde. It houses exhibits and vehicles from the former Glasgow Museum of Transport, such as ambulances, trams, taxis and trains, and has a recreated subway station and city street from 1938. Opened in 2011, the museum and its large collection of over 3,000 objects occupy a strikingly modern building that was designed by the famous architect Zaha Hadid. 3. Glengoyne Distillery. Nestled just half an hour's drive to the north of the centre is the Glengoyne Distillery, which produces Scotch whisky in a picture-perfect setting. Visitors can take tours of its distillery to see how the whisky is produced, learn about its history, and even try a stiff drink or two. At its quaint countryside site, you can learn about the unique distilling process and sample some wonderful whisky at the most beautiful distillery in Scotland. 2. Glasgow Cathedral. Glasgow Cathedral is located just east of the centre, right next to the Necropolis. One of the most important and impressive buildings in the city, the cathedral boasts exquisite Gothic architecture. Dedicated to St. Mungo, both the founder and patron saint of Glasgow, it has a very atmospheric interior with charming chapels, countless columns and an incredible stone choir. 1. Kelvingrove Art Gallery and Museum. Home to an array of artworks and artifacts is the Kelvingrove Art Gallery and Museum. One of the most popular places to visit in Glasgow and Scotland, its colossal collection is housed in a sandstone building in the west end of the city. Established in 1901, its grand galleries are packed with everything, from arms and armor to Bronze Age tools, dinosaur skeletons and a Spitfire plane. With masterpieces by Dali, Rembrandt, and Van Gogh on display, it is certainly a must-visit.